Back to Syria, there are many populists who are wary of what is happening there now. European Parliament member and Brexit champion Nigel Farage joins us now for his view. Mr. Farage, thanks for coming on. You've spoken to the new American president many times about a lot of things, including foreign policy. Were you surprised by what happened last night?
Yes, I was. There may be reasons, there may be facts that we don't yet understand. I guess the question I'm asking is, a lot of people who voted for Trump did so because they were very wary of the neocon agenda. They believe that persistent intervention in the Middle East over the last few years has made things worse, not better. So, yeah, lots of questions today.
Does it seem inevitable that in the wake of intervention in a country like Syria, that refugees from that country go to the country that does the intervening? That does seem to be the pattern. Does this mean more Syrian refugees will come here?
Yes. Well, I suppose actually, Southern Europe are the ones that will be thinking about this more than anybody, particularly given the breakdown of relations with Turkey, who was supposed to be holding back the migrant tide. But, yeah, all the evidence is, if you get rid of Saddam, you get rid of Gaddafi, they may be unpleasant people, they may do very bad things, but as strong secular leaders, you do not see large numbers of people leaving the country. Once you destabilize that, goodness knows what's going to happen. I mean, is this a one-off hit? Is this a warning to Assad, or is this part of a campaign? And that's the thing, I think, that most Trump supporters are really anxious to hear.
Yeah, not a question we can answer right now. You saw what happened in Sweden earlier today, of course, with an apparent act of terror committed by a truck. I imagine you believe this is connected to their decades-long immigration policy. Do you think it is?
Well, I don't yet know who the attacker was, but it's extremely unlikely that this person was not something to do with mass open-door immigration. Pro rata, Sweden have taken in more than anybody. So there are two problems. One is people coming in and committing terror. The other is radicalization that takes place in schools and prisons. Either way, this is not going to be the last such attack in Sweden or elsewhere in Europe. And in fact, it's happening now with such regular monotony, it's almost becoming part of life, I'm sad to say.
Horrifying. Now, you've said, and I've heard you say, that the EU policy, unstated but real, is to make Europe more Islamic. And my question has always been, if the EU bureaucrats are basically liberal, why would they be encouraging the emigration of people who don't share their values at all? What is the motivation behind that impulse?
Some very strong secularism that exists within the European structures, a sort of almost a genuine desire to downplay any Judeo-Christian heritage and culture. Those of us that stand up and speak for it, really get shouted down immediately. And I guess the problem with people who make policy like this is once they've embarked on the course, they can't ever admit they're wrong. They still, in Brussels, if you talk about sexual crimes in Sweden or in Germany over the last couple of years, if you say, look, a flood of people from countries who treat women badly has led to this, you're still branded as being racist. So it's a very, very strange, perverse mindset.
But why the double standard on secularism? So if you were to get up and talk about your Christian or Jewish faith, eyes would roll. But if you got up to talk about the superiority of Sharia law, people would listen attentively and sort of nod. Why?
I'm not sure that's true, Tucker. I think slowly but surely the public in Europe have woken up to what's going on, but still our leaders will not have any discussion about this kind of thing. Even if we talk about Sharia courts, which frankly I find horrifying, because unless we all live under the same law, what future is there? Even when you talk about things like that, you're told, look, we have to live in an age of religious tolerance. And the key thing they're missing is we may be tolerant to other religions, but sadly, some of the Islamic faith are not tolerant towards us.
Yeah, some aren't. Nigel, thanks a lot for joining us. Good to see you.